if you can, just introduce yourself, tell us who you are, how old you are, where you're from, and what it is that you do.
I'm Steve. I'm from Monterey, California. I'm 42, and I work for the Defense Department.
Okay. And if you can remind me, how many weeks back did you join the initial program, the Accelerated Method program?
If you count week 0, it'd be about 10 weeks ago. So I'm in week 9.
Okay. And can you just share, why is it that you joined? What was life like back for you then? What
Sure.
problems were you facing? And how did you feel overall?
I was kind of getting tired of being tired, and tired of kind of where my energy was at, where I was feeling physically, where I was at with sleep. Energy was sagging a little bit. I was bored of trying to figure out myself, and I wasn't liking my results with my team, and wanted to try something different and attack kind of the problem holistically.
And so it kind of, all these things were happening at once. You hit that kind of point where you said tired of being tired. Can you share how bad did it get for you? And specifically, what toll did it take on you personally and professionally to be in the state that you were in?
It wasn't great. I could tell by like late week, I was feeling different, not feeling myself. So the energy was kind of slacking, which brings confidence down, brings down decision-making, brings down good decision-making at least, and was just kind of feeling like, all right, something's not working here. This isn't me. So I was feeling, for me, somewhat lethargic. For me, kind of drained on the energy and feeling like on weekends had to kind of stock back up, like too much, not enough sleep during the week. So you're sleeping more on the weekend, which means you're cutting into personal time, cutting into time for friends, family, things like that. It's a vicious cycle, and had to do something different. Didn't like being wasn't being the proactive kind of driver or leader that I'm used to being. Wasn't liking being more reactive, not as enthusiastic about where my team's at with things, even when you have to summon the enthusiasm, things like that. Wasn't feeling like where I wanted to be at. I'm always driving to be better, and knew I had to do something different.
Thank you for sharing that. And so you feel like I remember even recalling when we had first spoke, almost in a sense that maybe you were feeling a little bit off, whether it was in terms of, like you shared, energy wasn't there. So can you elaborate on that? Like, how was that affecting you personally and professionally to be operating in that state, to where you felt lethargic, to where I remember even recall something about you mentioning maybe mentally sharp, something wasn't there.
Sure.
Can you kind of expand on that and share, like, where was it affecting other areas of your life to be in that state to where you were just like, okay, something's got to give here?
I was never at the just get through the day, but there were weeks when it was just get through the week. That wasn't working. And part of what I do tells me, was immediately saying, okay, you got to fix this, or you're going to have bigger problems than this. And it came down to then, not leading people the way that they want to be led. They need to be led. Professionally, that side was waning, and that was a big, big red flag for me. Personally, it means you're sleeping more on the weekend because you're trying to catch up on sleep, or you're trying to catch up on energy. It means less time with friends. It means less time with family. It means you're investing less in yourself. And it becomes a very vicious cycle, up, down, up, down. So that's where I was.
I see. So you kind of felt like not only that recharge that had to come into the weekend, you felt like that was starting to affect you personally. Of course, more time, like you're almost having to reboot on the weekend instead of finishing a long day, a long week of work and being able to enjoy yourself. You were just so almost drained, mentally shot, burned out by the end of the week that it's like, man, just anything just to rest and recharge and then start back the cycle on Monday.
Yeah, I mean, you should not have to, if you get the right balance, you should not be spending a good chunk of your weekend just hitting reset.
But you joined probably about a couple months back or so. What has life been like for you over these past couple of months?
I didn't know what I was going to, I had some expectation that it was going to work, but I didn't know how well it was going to work. And, 9 weeks in, I mean, the results are dramatic. I mean,
well, and speaking of that, because now you just transitioned right into the story. Well, no, you're good. Knowing that you said the results have been dramatic.
Yeah.
And you've been willing to listen and apply and do everything at hand. What specific results have you gotten?
So
rolling and applying everything at hand.
The energy and the confidence were up in like the span of the first couple of weeks. And they've stayed up. Even just like last week was kind of the weirdest, strangest week I've had in the whole program, outside of the program, and energy stayed pretty high throughout the week, and confidence didn't really slack too much. In fact, it's probably didn't slack at all. Physically, it's crazy. And I know, you're going to probably say this isn't normal. That's fine. But I'm down today, 27 pounds.
Yes.
So, around like other measurements, especially around the gut, is something like, I think we're at like, I want to say 5-6 inches off.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, the pants do not fit well. They are too loose. We're getting close to where they're going to have to get replaced or tailored or something here. I tie yesterday for the first time in who knows how long. And I just grabbed a shirt thinking, oh yeah, I haven't worn this one for a while. Well, it's one that I must have bought at a bad time because it's a 17-inch neck, and I folded it, I closed it, and it was like, oh yeah, this isn't going to work. That this is way too much loose here. So it's across the board. And I still have work to do. I still have weeks to go. I'm still going to finish up this program and keep pressing after that, but it works. And it's been awesome. I had set expectations for 12 weeks. We beat those expectations, I think, for most of them by week 6. I think it was week 6. And I was conservative because I didn't know, I don't want to create some false plan. Now, I've got bigger ambitions. It's like, all right, this is great. Energy's up, confidence is up. I look more like I looked 5, 6, 10 years ago, whatever it is. But except the hair's not coming back. Great. That's great. It's awakened kind of the monster that's in there, ready to do more of that. And we've got a lot more to do, but it's funny. It's just, results build on results.
I love that, man. And I know you had mentioned before that you had maybe dabbled in some things before. And so what I want to know is, how has this been different than anything you've ever experienced before?
Well, I mean, it comes down to what I think I said early on here. It's holistic. It's comprehensive. Take on your whole everything. All the factors that go into making a high energy, healthy person, whether physically or mentally. It's different in that it's focused across the board.
Let's go back to the very beginning. What was your biggest worry or greatest concern about joining within this initial program?
It was probably, I know I was committed, but it was like, okay, as I really get started in this, am I going to really, am I going to be like, what have I done? Just kind of from a time and, being willing to put in the work perspective. I mean, I knew I was wired, I was kind of ready to go. That one dissipated probably within the first week once I kind of was just getting a feel for it. And then, like I said, just kind of knowing like, all right, how hard is this going to be to figure this out? And that, that was easily alleviated within the first few days, really.
Got it. So yeah, and knowing your sort of touching base on that first one, which both are very understandable concerns. Yeah. But touching base on that first one, every guy that comes in here is a very busy guy. But for you were almost concerned in a sense of, hey, you're going to get after it. I know the commitment's there, but you were almost in a sense going, wait, with everything else I have on my plate, am I going to be able to, am I going to get halfway through and go, oh, what have I done? And that was the initial concern.
It was that kind of, like, dude, what's the, okay, I got to put in the time. Am I really gonna, am I going to get 4 weeks in and go, I don't have the time, or it's not, anybody with a crazy schedule can handle this.
And even going back in terms of worry or concern, what were you really skeptical about when you made the decision to start?
For me, I was just most skeptical, like, okay, how am I really going to hold to this? But the reality is the nutrition plan is very clear. Here's what you need to do. Here's why you're doing it. And then ways to make it, improve the taste, make it simple, make it fun, make it whatever term people are thinking they're struggling with. They're built in. So that was for me probably the most skeptical thing. Like, well, I really hold to this.
Yeah. And so what I want to know is from you, and you kind of shared it a little bit, what did, whether it was me or the program as a whole, do at the core to alleviate the skepticism from you?
I think for me, it was just kind of understanding the logic and then experiencing it.
Okay. So you kind of, you knew the underlying why, so you kind of were
Right.
like, right, I
Yes.
get this,
Yeah.
but it hasn't completely. You wouldn't say it's allowed you to give up everything you love to eat.
No, I've gone very aggressive into it. Once I figured out what it was, and once I kind of started to see a few results, I made a conscious choice to even go to really lean in.
Based on what you've experienced up until this point, and also maybe your concerns and skepticism that you felt even before filling out the application or reaching out for support, what would you say to anyone right now who's considering maybe filling out a form, shooting a message over for support, or just joining in general, but they're really on the fence? They may be experiencing the same kind of concerns, skepticism,
Right.
or whatever you have. What would you say to them right now based on your experience?
Just do it. If you are wired to put in the work and achieve results and know that you want to make a change, this is the right program for you. And, get off the fence. Don't overthink it. You're going to like the results. And I'm not even at the end, and you're going to like the results, and you're going to feel different, and just lean into it. Don't sit on the fence. If I had known about this a year ago, I probably would have done it a year ago.